Hello everyone. Welcome back to another installment of ITC Photography. As always, I'm your host, Garrett King. Okay, folks, on today's episode, we're going to look at a couple of videos of video feedback loop. And if my voice sounds weird, it's because I'm a little under the weather. No big deal. I'll get over it. Just a little sore throat and some sinus issues going on. So, but yeah, I just wanted to do a couple of little videos on the video feedback loop and give you some more examples of how that process actually works and how the images, come through and how they look. So let's go ahead and just start straight away. So one of the first ones that I want to do is this one of a dog that came through. And let's see here. It's video 546. Okay, so it's this very first one that I have loaded up here. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit play. And looks like he shows up at 14 seconds in. So let's just go ahead and hit play so you can see what the feedback loop looks like. Okay. And it's just going along. And again, it just depends. Each time the video feedback loop can look different. It just depends on, what the zooming in process is. So as you saw, the whole video played, more than likely you didn't see anything. I didn't either because I wasn't really paying attention. But what you have to do, again, is you have to go through your videos and look frame by frame. So let's see here. He came in at 14 seconds. So I'm just going to go to about 13 and just do a couple of frame tap throughs until we get to that specific frame. Okay, so I'm just advancing forward. And when he shows up, it's undeniable that he's there. Okay. And boom, right there, he shows up. Now, if you're having a difficult time seeing him, if you tilt your head to the right, because that's the way his head is, he's tilted to the right. So we can see his eye right here. His other eye is over here. His nose is right here. And if you look closely, you can see where his ear's coming up, and then it's coming down to the side of his head. And this is the bottom down here where his like jawline or snout or whatever would be, and then coming up to the other side, and then his other ear here, and then the top of his head. And you can even see that he has some color to his face. So there's like some white here on the top of his nose and down here on his chin area. But he's pretty clear. But for those who are having maybe a difficult time seeing him, let's go ahead and open up Aurora HDR. All right. And I'm just going to do a quick little screenshot. I think he shows up pretty noticeable, but I understand some people have just a difficult time seeing these things until it's really pointed out to them. So I'm just going to do a little change in color just so it stands out from the rest of the image. Okay, so I'm just going to come up here. And we're going to come over to his other ear and come down. Okay, right there is his eye. And to me, this looks like, I don't know, possibly a terrier of some kind. Maybe a little bit like a schnauzer. I wouldn't say that 100%, but possibly. Okay. So I think that's enough that, again, you have to tilt your head because that's the way he is. But again, his one of his eyes is right here. The other eye is over here. His nose and mouth is down here. And you can see his ears up here and everything. But yeah, there he is. So, and he had just popped in again, like most of them do, on one single frame. So the frame before this is that. And then he shows up. And then the next frame, it's gone. I mean, it's just like, you know, I've made this statement before, but it's almost like receiving a video transmission or something. But I want to point out there's no way for the TV to be receiving a signal from, you know, satellite, cable, or anything like that, because none of that is plugged into the TV. The TV is merely plugged into the wall, and then the video camera is plugged into the TV, and it is pointed directly at the TV itself. So, and that's it. There's nothing else. There's the TV that I use does not have Wi-Fi or anything like that. So again, there's no way that a outside source can inject itself into this video recording. So how it's being done, I have no idea, other than something supernatural taking place. So, but yeah, there he is. It's kind of cool. Okay, let's quickly go on to the next one. So the next one is the Smiling Woman. And let's see, she's video 596. So 596 right here. And she shows up within 4 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play on this one. And what I want to point out here is you can see what, well, I was getting ready to say what looks like tinfoil. It is tinfoil. When I was doing these sessions, I was trying every possible thing I could think of to help enhance the spirits to have the ability to come forward and, you know, be able to show themselves. You know, people suggested using crystals, for whatever reason, tinfoil, copper. So I just took tinfoil and wrapped it around the back of the TV, as you can see. And then I even just put a strip of it over on one side just to see what would happen. You know, I mean, it's all about testing this procedure out and seeing what helps and what doesn't help. So let's go ahead and hit play just so you can see on this one what the video feedback loop is going to look like. Okay, so you can just see it. It's just rushing across the screen. Okay. And like I was saying earlier, each time that you do the video feedback loop, it can and will look different. It's just however the loop decides it's going to work that particular time. Because again, the video camera is pointing directly at the TV. The TV is receiving the signal of what the video camera is looking at, which is the TV. So again, you wind up with an image of the TV inside the TV, inside the TV, and so on. And then you zoom in to the TV screen until you start getting this warping effect taking place. And that is how these spirits are coming through. I mean, I don't understand 100% what, like, the complete process of how it works. This is just the method that is allowing them to come through. So, okay, so she shows up on frame, or not frame, but in 4 seconds. So I'm just going to advance to 3 seconds in. And just like before, I'm going to keep tapping through. And she's going to show up right here. Okay. Now, it's very clear. I mean, I can clearly see her face. Hopefully you can too. She's smiling. Let's go ahead and just enlarge this. So her entire head is right here. Okay. Her eyes are right here. It almost looks like she's squinting for some reason, but she is smiling. You can clearly see a smile on her face. Her chin is right here. This is the bridge of her nose. You can even see some shadow being cast against the side of her nose. And then her hair and everything is up here. So just to isolate the face, I'm going to take a screenshot again, throw it into Aurora HDR, and just color in the section where her face is. And let's make that brush a little smaller. Okay, so let me kind of zoom out here a little bit. All right, so that's it. I mean, we can clearly see where her eyes are. And again, it almost looks like she's squinting for some reason, or maybe she's just smiling so much that it's making her eyes look like they're squinting. But we can clearly see a smile on the face. Her chin is down here. Again, the nose, the eyes, top of her head's up here. And if we go back to the original video, I mean, she just clearly, this is the frame before, and we can barely see where she's going to show up. So the frame before it's all practically white. And then she starts to come in. We can just see trace bits of detail here. The next frame, there she is. And then the very next frame after that, it just goes black. Not sure who she is, but it's very cool that she came through in the way that she did. Okay, so let's keep moving forward. Now, this next one I called Oscar Wilde because to me it looked a little bit like Oscar Wilde. So this is 599. It's right here. And he comes in at 5 seconds. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit play. Okay, so we're already at 7, 8, 9 seconds, 10 seconds. So it goes real quick. Again, that's why you have to take your videos and go back and analyze them frame by frame. So he comes in at 5 seconds in. So I'm just going to advance this a little bit. Okay, so we're at 4 seconds now. So now I'm going to start doing it frame by frame. Now he comes in kind of small, but I think he's clear enough that you can see his face. So just going to keep going. And he's going to show up towards the beginning here. And he's right here. So let me make that larger. So his face is right there. And we can see his eye. And he's looking off to the side at something. We can see his other eye over here. We can see what looks like a piece of hair coming down in, like over his forehead and practically down to his eye. And then we can see his nose. It's right here. And then you can barely just see his mouth right here, but then his chin. Now, this right here could be his hand being held up to his face and then down to where, the sleeve of his shirt or jacket or whatever he's wearing is down here. But let's go ahead and do it. Whoops. A screenshot. Throw this into Aurora. Okay. Again, I'm just going to paint in some color where his face is. Now, just because I called it Oscar Wilde, that doesn't mean I'm saying that it is Oscar Wilde. It just looked like Oscar Wilde to me. And then if this is possibly his hand and part of his arm coming down, don't know. If we zoom out a little bit. So again, let's get rid of that. Okay. And maybe bring the contrast down a little bit. So again, we can clearly see where his eye, or his right eye, his left eye is right here. We can see his nose, his mouth, where his chin, the side of his head on both sides. And then again, where some hair is possibly coming down over his forehead, and even possibly down over his eye just a little bit. So if we look at the before, you can see what I'm referencing. So again, he came through a little small, but I think it's clear enough. Like, you can clearly see that someone's face is right there. And again, the frame before it, nothing. He's there. And then in the next frame, it just goes dark. And the loop just keeps going. But I think it's clear enough. I think most people should be able to see that there is indeed a face of someone right there. So, okay. Let's keep moving forward. So 692, I just have face. That's all I put there, face. 692. Let's see what we have here. Don't know whose face, or I don't even really remember what the face is. So 8 seconds. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit play. Okay, so we've already passed the 8-second mark. Let's go back here. Oh, I do remember this one. I think this is, I don't know, it's possibly a kid. I don't know. But they appear to be bald. So, okay, they're going to show up down here towards the bottom. I do remember this one now. Okay, so I'm just going to advance it forward. And boom, the face is right here. We can see their eye. We can see their other eye, some shading, bridge of the nose, but the mouth and everything below it's missing. It's almost like they're peeking their head up over this edge. But for those who may be having a hard time seeing it, let's just go ahead and screenshot it. Put it into Aurora. And just as before, we're going to give it a little bit of color. Okay, so that would be the top of their head. Zoom out a little bit here. All right, so we can see where their eye came through, their other eye, again, the bridge of the nose. And let's just bring that contrast down just a tiny bit. yeah, I mean, I think it's fairly clear. If I was to grade this, I would put it at maybe a C plus to a B minus. But I think there's enough there to indicate that, yes, indeed, someone was trying to come through, was trying to show themselves the way that I asked them to. So, yeah, kind of cool. So, okay, let's go on to one more. And there's several in this one here, but I'm just going to do this first one for now, the woman, because I thought this one was really cool. She looks very ethereal, almost, I hate to even use this word, but ghostly, okay? You'll see what I mean here in just a moment. But she's wearing some kind of maybe robe or like a hooded robe over her head. So see, she's 715. Well, that would just be the next one. And she's going to come in at 2 minutes. Exactly. So this video is shot for 13 minutes and 2 seconds. I honestly don't remember recording for that long. I don't usually record that long, but I guess maybe for whatever reason, this time I did. But let's just go ahead and advance this forward to about 156. We'll hit play. So as you can see, this loop is going pretty slow. It's just warping as it's moving across the screen. Okay, she's already shown up and left. So let's back up. And we're going to go, let's just back up a little bit. Okay. So she's going to show, did not mean for that to happen. Okay. She's going to show up over here in the corner. So let's just go ahead and start tapping through frame by frame. Okay, so she's going to show up right there. So if you tilt your head to the left just a little bit, you can see her head. Her eye is right here. Her other eye is over here in the dark. We can just tell enough shading for the nose and a little bit for the mouth. And this is her entire head. And then possibly what looks like, to me, like some kind of hood or something that she's wearing over her head. So let's put that into Aurora. And okay, so this one's a little more helpful, the sleepy drama. So again, if you look, you can see her eye. Her other eye would be over here. We can just barely see a little bit of her nose and her mouth right here. And again, this would be the side of her face coming down to her chin. So let's go ahead and do a little brushing. And just like that. And then on this one, or this layer, we'll kind of paint in what I'm thinking is possibly like a hooded robe or something like that that's kind of covering her head. All right. So there we have it. We can see her face. and whatever she's wearing that's, covering her head. And you can see what I'm talking about when I say ethereal, that it's almost kind of ghostly image that came through. But I think it is clear enough, at least to me, hopefully it is for you guys, that indeed, again, someone was attempting to come through and show themselves. All right, so there you have it. Short video. Again, I would make it a little bit longer, but like I said, I'm under the weather. My throat is hurting. Yeah, so I just wanted to be able to get something out for you guys and keep showing you these different methods for ITC and how these entities, these spirits, interdimensional beings can and will and do come through. You just have to ask them to do it and be willing to make that connection, and they'll show up for you. So, all right, folks, until next time, I hope everyone takes care and has a great rest of the week and a great weekend, and we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.